Hi guys, we're going to try this math old-fashioned way with pencil and paper. But today we're going to cover lesson 7 in chapter 6. So 6.7 is the lesson, and it's called subtraction with renaming. So what that means is that we're going to learn how to borrow from the whole number and add it to the fraction. Okay, so let's start here. So when we have mixed numbers, we know we have to split them down the middle. Okay, and we're going to start with the fractions. So we have 1/2 and 5/6. Now, just like every other time, we're going to find the LCM. And the LCM is going to be 6 for these two. If you list them out, you'll find that the lowest multiple of 2 and 6 is 6. So now we're going to make our new denominators, our new equivalent fractions. Okay, so we put the 6 down here and the 6 down here. Now, this right up here, what times 2 gives you 6? That's right, 3. 1 times 3 gives you 3. So our new fraction is 3/6. Now down here, our denominator stayed the same, so our numerator also stays the same. So now we're ready to subtract. We have 3/6 minus 5/6. Now wait a second. 3 is smaller than 5. So can we take 5 from 3? No. But many of you will say, well, Miss Johnson, just flip them around. 5/6 minus 3/6. Is that a problem? Yes, but can I do this? Your answer should be no, it's not. Because a couple lessons ago, I told you have to keep the fractions in the order they're given to you. You cannot just flip them. That's a big no-no. So, how are you going to take 3 from 5? Well, we're going to have to borrow from over here, okay? Borrowing is just like borrowing with whole numbers, okay? You borrow from the 2, it crosses off and it becomes a 1. That stays the same. But now when we borrow, we have to take our whole number and change it into a fraction. Now I know many of you have learned this before, that 1 whole in a fraction can equal 3/3, 2 2s, 5/5. Okay, all those are wholes. But how do we know what whole we're going to add to this up here? Well, you see, it all depends on what your denominator is. If your denominator is 6, what fraction can you get that will equal 1 whole? It would be 6/6, because 6 over 6 equals 1 whole. So we're going to take this and add it to our already existing fraction. So 3/6 plus 6/6 equals 9/6. See, this way we're taking the whole from the whole number, breaking it up into a fraction, even though it's still equal to a whole, and adding it to our existing fraction so that we get what's called an improper fraction. We talked about that before. Because we're adding a whole to an already existing fraction. So our numerator has to be bigger. But now we can subtract. 9/6 minus 5/6. So 9/6 minus 5/6 equals 4/6. Okay, so now we just subtract these. 1 minus 1 is 0. So our answer, 2. 2 and 1/2 minus 1 and 5/6 is 4/6. And that's because we borrowed. Okay? So that's how we do it. Right, so let's look down here at our other problems. Now this says estimate. We are not even going to worry about estimating. Okay? Only thing we're going to worry about is figuring out these problems right here. We're going to look at the numbers. Okay, now I want you to set them up and down. 4 and 1/2 minus 3 and 4/5. Okay, again, we're going to break these up. And we're going to find the LCM of 1/2 and 4/5. Okay, I'm going to break them up. So the LCM is going to be, if you list them out, it'll be 10. So our new denominator is going to be 10. So ask ourselves, 5 times what gives you 10? 5 times 2, you do it to the bottom, you do it to the top. 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times what gives you 10? 5. So 1 times 5 is 5. So again, we have 5/10 minus 8/10. Now, if you have $5, can you go and buy an $8 item from the store? No, you would not. You have to go borrow money from your friend, from your mom, from an adult, or from somebody. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go back and we're going to borrow. Okay, so our 4 is crossed out. It becomes a 3. Now remember, the fraction you add over here depends on what your denominator is. You have to go with your new denominator. That's why you find your LCM first. So what would 1 whole be out of this fraction? It would add 10 over 10 because our denominator is 10. So 10 plus 5 is 15 over 10. And 8/10 stays the same. So now you can subtract. 15 minus 8 gives you 7/10. Okay, so we have 7/10. Okay, 3 minus 3 is 0. So our answer to 4.5 minus 3 4/5 is 7/10. I hope you understand. I hope I explained it well. If you need some more examples, please feel free to email me or message me on the dojo. Thanks!